Hey guys, it's Topi with NEPA Builders, and I'm here with Dave, our project manager. We just finished the Larson Lake project, and we're going to get into all the details. Let's get into it. So now that we're on the outside talking about the exteriors, I'd like to talk about a couple of the elements that went into it. So we have the board and batten siding, which was Georgia Pacific shadow, right Dave? Shadow color. And we have the black Provia windows. They are the Endure line, and the soffit and the fascia is also black. So the contrast between that shadow Georgia Pacific siding and the black windows and doors, as well as the soffit and fascia, really gives a nice contrast to this Poconos home. And then we also have the standing seam metal roof, which is another element to the design that you'll see in some of these pictures. So talking about the roof itself, the roof is a 2-pitch, so it's a lower slope pitch, and we had to get creative with what we were going to use on the roof to make it both insulated properly and not have a leaking issue in the future and have a manufacturer warranty that would hold up. So we decided to go with Union Corrugated's SL175, which is an 1 3/4 standing seam rib. That's what gives us the ability to meet a 2-pitch and also meet the requirements necessary to make sure that it's not going to leak in the future, whether it's ice, snow, or water. And what was unique about this thing is, and when you see the fascia and how wide it is, there's a reason for that. And we had to make this sandwich of foam and purlins on the top to move the condensation point away. So Dave, what were some of the details that went into that sandwich of foam and purlins?
It's a double purling system. It's for the thermal break. So you would put foam, a purling, and then more foam, and then another purling, so we could get that R value that we needed.
Yeah, so multiple layers of both foam and framing, and then plywood on the top.
Yes.
Right, so we first had the rafters, if you will, then plywood, multiple layers of foam and framing, and then the underlayment, and then the standing seam metal roof.
Yes.
Wow, yeah. A lot of details clearly that went into this roof to make it right. So not only does it look beautiful, but it's going to stand the test of time. Okay, standing on the side of the house now, we're taking a look at the deck. The deck is large and expansive that sees across the lake. Nice space for entertaining guests coming outside of those panoramic doors. Each room has its own door that gets out to the deck. There's also a private deck area off of the master bedroom. So it's Trex decking, right, Dave? And what's the Trex line, and what are the colors?
It's enhanced, and it's also, the color is clamshell.
Clamshell, yeah. I think the color of the Trex decking, along with the siding and the roof, really just make this element, you know, nice, and it tucks this place in with the trees and the outdoors and the lake. I think it really makes all these outdoor features come together. Now that we're on the inside of the house, I'd like to pay attention to the open floor plan concept that we ended up with, how expansive the room is, and everything that went into making this space what it is today. So one of the things is obviously the design and where we started to end up here, right? So the homeowner, Bernard, and his neighbor are very longtime friends. Her name is Pilar, and she was the designer on this project. So she put together the entire project, not only for what they needed, but how it related to this specific property and the lake and the vision to the lake. There were also design elements that were tied together between past art that Bernard and his wife Liang had happened with some of their friends that had showed up in the house that they used to live in here. And so what they did was they captured that art and they kept it, and they were able to plan the space for where they would put that art. So I think that's pretty unique. And so all of those things together, obviously Bernard, there's a lot of things that went into that, and thoughts and conversations. And your friend next door, what was that like for you guys to put together that vision of the space and work with your friend on designing your home?
Yeah, it was a great experience, really. I have to backtrack a little bit to say that there was another house on this property. We bought this property 15 years ago with a cabin on it. And in 2022, it was discovered that the underground oil fuel tank had sprung a leak and had polluted the entire area. So the house is condemned as a result of that and had to be torn down. And then we were wondering what to rebuild, or even to rebuild at all. But then we talked with our neighbor, Pilar, and her husband, Todd, and they inspired us to continue. We're not abandoned this place because the location of the lot is so wonderful. And so we sat together, and actually, we're going back to 2010. We know them since we bought the property, but then we did things together with them. So we climbed Kilimanjaro with Pilar and Todd in 2021. And so we know their taste, they know our taste, and we talked about the Poconos a lot then. And when the house had to be rebuilt, we knew that she was an architect, but we weren't sure that she would want to take this project on. And of course, we were wrong, because not only did she want to, she was eager to take this on, because they own 2 houses right next to us, right? Not just one, but 2. They own the house right next to us, and then they own that large house that it's 2 houses further down. So they were really interested in having a house rebuilt that fit into the neighborhood. And Pilar also, of course, is a very accomplished architect. She was eager to put her own vision into this place. And the vision that she had really matched with ours, which is to just bring the nature inside and just, make the best of this glorious view here. And so we sat together only once. It took us about an hour. She came up with a sketch, and we just added some things. We turned some things around, and there it was. After about an hour, we knew the basic layout of this whole entire house. And then, of course, she went into the fine detail of the drawings, and she made the whole plan happen. And so one of the things we told her is 2 things. We want to bring the nature from outside to the inside, just really have this kind of interchange, this conversation. But the other aspect was our artwork. We had large artworks that we had bought because we liked it, but we had no place to display it. And so we told her, number 2, we want big walls where we can put our 1-by-1 yard square paintings and others. And so that's the other consideration that she had in mind.
So talking about the windows and the doors, there are the black Provia Endure line. And these are a 12-foot by 8-foot door. The center is operating and the left and right are stationary, which gives that amazing panoramic view to the lake. But these things are just super awesome. The entire house, every room in the house that faces the lake has one of these, which creates that entire perspective of the lake, no matter what room you're standing in. So we're standing in front of the see-through fireplace, which is also an amazing feature for the indoor to outdoor connection space. On the other side is a deck that is just outside of the living room, closer to the master bedroom space. But this is an LP gas fireplace, so it's very efficient. It's very clean burning. Obviously, it's not wood, but the tie-in, I think, between the outside elements and the inside elements is really what connects the living room to the outdoor space. So standing now in the center of this massive open floor plan space, I'd like to talk about the elements that went into the construction process to make this a possibility. So in the ceiling, you'll see these massive power beams that go from the back of the house all the way to the front. And that is what's carrying the entire roof span, so that there's no posts or beams on the inside of the space and you could freely move around. And that is no easy task at all to install those beams. There's cranes on site, but also the front wall that has all this panoramic glass to the lake, all of that inside of that wall is steel. And so we had to bring in KSG. So this was another combination with Pilar, the architect, and the structural engineers. Shout out to Dan and the guys at KSG. They were able to come in and design the structure of this moment frame in this steel and make this wall structurally sound enough to carry the beams up above to make the open floor plan. So many elements that go into creating open floor plan space that it's important to just stop for a moment and think about all those things and, give some appreciation to the guys that put all this together. Our teams are the best. They go underappreciated all the time. They work in the heat, they work in the snow, everywhere in between, and they're putting up these massive projects. So hats off to them. Good job to the architect and the engineers involved. And this open floor plan space it's incredible, and it's really what I think brings that outside to inside vision together, because without it, you couldn't get all of the art, the flooring, the furniture, and then that inside to outside connected fireplace. Really think it makes the whole house really. And talking about that, the flooring in this space is, if you notice, it's a Brazilian chestnut floor. And the reason that they wanted to do that was all of the walls and the paint was much lighter color, almost an off-white. And they had furniture that they wanted to really contrast with the floor. So the Brazilian chestnut floor was the selection that they made. Dave, the project manager, Katie in our office worked very closely on all of the selections, and ultimately, ended up with a number of different options to choose from. And I think they really just chose this floor because it was such a perfect tie-in of all the elements and the colors. So now we're down in the basement, and we finished the basement at the end of the project. They decided to go ahead and finish the space, which I think was a great idea. And they took the opportunity to turn this into an art gallery and displayed the rest of the art that they had. So I'd love to give Bernard an opportunity to talk about this space down here as well.
Yes, so we hope to keep exchanging the art and acquiring more art. So this is like an engine for us, a motivator for us to go out there and acquire more art, put it on the walls, take this down, have a kind of a changing exhibition and curating this space here. So that's really been a dream of mine, to become sort of a private art curator as well as an art dealer. And of course, my wife, Leon, helps with that and is equally a driver. So we start out with artworks that were actually painted here in this location in the old house. The painter was one of the recipients of the fellowship from the Schweitzer Foundation that we ran. We invited her to come here to spend 4 weeks and just paint, and they could live in our house here while it was still here. And then she left us with these as a thank you. That's our first exhibition. And then on the other side, we continue to some degree. So these are acrylic canvas as well as ink wash paintings, and then some mixed media over there as well. And then here we also have some photography from a friend of ours, a Chinese photographer. And this will be enriched as time goes on. We'll have sculptures as well down here. And so this is the beginning. This is kind of the seed of an art collection that we hope to build.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with us. Appreciate it.